just jump right in with questions. Questions, or does anyone have specific topic that we want to cover today? I know there's some new things. Yeah, Diane?
Everything.
Everything?
Yeah.
Okay, are you all current teachers on Outschool? Are we all current teachers, or no? Who's in the hiring process? Okay, Angela. Oh yeah, Angela. Hi, Angela. Oh yeah. Okay, so good to put a face with a name. Okay, so Angela she just got hired, actually. I think that was record time. Angela, like, was that less than 24 hours you heard back?
I sent it in yesterday morning, and I guess it came through around 4 o'clock or so yesterday.
Same day she got approved. So we were
Way to go.
Yeah. So I emailed her early, I don't know if it was last night or this morning, and said, can I use your video as an example, perhaps? Got a couple of other referrals, and that was just a really cool video. You know, some videos are they're so edited and amazing that they kind of intimidate, and like, okay, well, I don't have the skills to do all that. And then but Angela's was well edited, but it was something that you can look at and say, well, okay, that gives me a really great idea of what I can do with the editing I know how to do. So anyway, if you want an example, Angela's, you know, less than 24, same day approval on her application and video. I just thought that was really cool.
That's really good.
All right.
Well,
Linda,
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we can start with questions, it's really basic, but you know, they give us the recording, send us the recordings of all of our classes. Do you watch those recordings, and do you send them to the parents?
There's a setting. I don't watch any of mine. I don't want to see myself teaching, but there is a setting when you go into your like profile where you have to either check or uncheck the box that says I'll like automatically make recordings available. And then if you've got that setting in your profile checked, then every time a recording is ready, then it will be made available to the classroom participants.
Okay.
And you can watch it if you want to.
All right, but it will be available to the parents if they want to watch it as well. Okay, that's good to know.
Right. Otherwise, you have to send it to them. Like,
Gotcha.
Otherwise, you'll get requests like, hey, is there a class recording? So-and-so missed the class. And but if you just have it where it's automatically available, then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'll look for that.
I have one.
Yes.
I teach VIPKid right now, and I'm in the process of doing my video. VIPKid added their beauty thing to kind of soften
the beauty
you up.
Filter. Yes.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that Zoom has that now. Is that true?
Oh, Zoom actually does have a beauty filter. Well, it's not called a beauty filter.
Well, yeah.
I rely on that filter every morning for VIPKid. Yeah.
That's why I look the way I do. I just finished teaching.
Me too.
I'm normally not dressed for the day this early, but the kids and I have to scoot as soon as this meeting is over. But yeah, I feel you.
You check or something?
Okay, so in your Zoom, you're like, you know how you have to like download Zoom? You don't have to pay for an account, but you download Zoom on your device. When there are settings, you can go to advanced settings, and then you can click on check the box to use the filter in Zoom.
Okay.
And so then in our Outschool classroom, it will automatically use it.
Yeah, it should. It should use that filter. It's a setting that you don't have to keep checking again. You just set it that one time and go. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how mine works on my desktop. Now, I've never taught from anything other than this desktop.
Yeah, I'll be teaching from my desktop too.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good question. how many people teach younger kids and teach sitting down versus standing up?
Me.
Yeah, I do. I teach sitting down. I want to eventually have a stand-up operation, but I have shelves above my desktop where I can't move my computer up where I'm at. But yeah, I sit.
Yeah, I stand.
You do,
I'm
Linda. Do you
sitting
like
now, but I normally stand to teach.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I have a kind of a stool that if I get tired or I just need to sit, I can, and I just adjust my camera just a little bit. But
Yes.
normally I stand to teach.
I'm ready for baby, so
No, you don't want to be standing.
Congratulations.
thank you.
What
I'm
a
only on-
beautiful bone.
I'm only on
Do.
October.
Okay. Well, my daughter-in-law is due September, and she's been told to not let gravity do any work, so she has to sit all the time now or rest. She's a teacher as well, and she's in her she doesn't have any students yet in her classroom, but she's
Well,
Right.
There's going to be a baby boom because of the pandemic, so.
that's probably true.
So.
So true. Okay, next question. Who has another question? Linda, did you get all yours? Oh,
No, I have more. If you don't mind me just
No,
asking
go
them.
ahead.
All right. How far in advance do you schedule lessons? Like, a lot of my lessons are one time, but I also have some others that, of course, automatically, once I set it, it will go, the next time period. But like if I were doing a one-time lesson and I wanted to schedule it, they say 2 weeks in advance. Well, then, okay, I want to set up, say, 5 or 6 sections. Do I go all the way into October, or how
I
far
do.
in advance do you do all that?
I personally, I like to go out as far in advance as possible because, well, they'll say 2 weeks out so they have time to market it. If you don't give it 2 weeks out, they don't have time to get it on the email for all of the people that have loved, the little heart that have liked your, so if parents like your profile, then by pressing that little heart, then they receive an email every time you upload a class. So there's that marketing, but if you schedule it, if you don't give them time, that won't happen if it's not 2 weeks out. And then they like to do it for Facebook. So the longer that it's out, the more time it's got to circulate on social media with your Facebook ads and things like that Outschool will do. And then I also think, so I personally like it because I feel like it gets more exposure the longer you've got it. That's just kind of been my experience. And then also speaking from, I know that there are a lot of homeschoolers now, that have had to transition to homeschool, but there are also a ton of regular homeschoolers that we were homeschooling before this and will be homeschooling after. And I know that Outschool started to, as a company that would cater to homeschoolers. And, I just know thinking like, I'm thinking about this first 9 weeks of school for my own kids. I want to go ahead and have classes lined up. I don't want to, I know a lot of parents are planners. And so they want to, I don't want to be looking every week to find, a class that fits this and this and this. I want to kind of go ahead and have a tentative schedule lined out, so I'm doing that for my kids' Outschool classes. I want to have a tentative, at least an idea of what classes they're going to take for this first 9-week chunk of school. So that's kind of where my thinking comes in as well, is being a planner and, wanting to at least know what options are available. And then that doesn't mean that it won't change. As I get email notifications from other teachers that I've saved, and I may want to switch. So that's one, that's, kind of one school of thought. And then the other, though, is there's also nothing wrong with scheduling, last minute or just like a week, 3 to 5 days or a week out, because I do know that there are, now I don't have as much luck if I schedule it with, let's say I schedule a class, let's see, what is today, Wednesday? Let's say I schedule a class for Monday of next week. I personally have not had as much luck getting a class filled when I schedule it last minute. However, that if that class was on the schedule 6 weeks ago, it may not be filled right now, but by Monday, I'm more than likely going to get a lot more learners jump on.
Okay.
So you do get a lot of last minute learners, but I still see that my last minute learners come from classes that were already on the schedule, because just as many people don't see it if it's not scheduled in advance, if that makes sense.
All right, well, most of your classes are not one-time classes, though, are they?
Right, but I did have that experience. I did start out with all one-time classes, and it was my experience that if I had it on the schedule, I would still get last-minute learners. But if I, would schedule on the fly, kind of, well, I have Fridays open, let me go ahead and just put some classes up there, I may get 1 or 2, but it just wasn't as successful.
Well, in line with that, like if you have one-time classes, how many sections do you open at a time? Like even, like if I opened a section for a class this week and then opened it again for next week, and it's the same class, but it's different sections at different times, trying to catch kids at different. So, I mean, if I have 5 to 6 sections, see what I'm winding up with is when they do get booked, I get 1, maybe 2 learners. And occasionally I might get a last minute added, but it's not enough that I can kind of transfer them into another class, because I don't really know.
I think it's a lot of trial and error in the beginning. I think I personally feel like nobody has a good schedule right now, because everybody's kind of in limbo and we don't know what we're doing. But I know in the beginning, like I would schedule a ton, like I scheduled like 20 something sections of my first 2 or 3 classes, because I wanted to play with times. I really was like, what time is going to work? And then when I would see that around lunchtime always fills up, no matter what class it is, every day of the week around lunchtime for me always fills up. And so I would just kind of start to condense. It did take a few weeks of teaching, 1 student here and there. You just kind of had to like experiment. But then once I found out what hours really worked for me, then I started cutting out those extra classes. So it kind of pushes those students into, those 2 or 3 sections versus a ton of sections where you're teaching a lot and you're not really making a lot because you've got 1 in each class or 2 in each class.
That's what's happening. Now, have you guys seen this chart this is based on Pacific time, but the darker the color, it shows when parents are mostly booking. And that's what I've started doing is I've got my Eastern time over here because I can't do it in my head. So I put the time for the Eastern Standard. But it kind of gave me an idea of when to start opening classes because of these darker. If you go to where you schedule your classes, for booking a section, there's a comment and then a highlighted click here, if you want more information.
If you need help for scheduling what time to schedule your classes, click here. Yeah.
And that's beginning to help me a little bit to get a better handle on times. But then, of course, I have to also think about my own time.
Right.
What else do I have going on? Yeah, I do have a life.
That's kind of what I
question?
Yeah.
Piggybacking off of Facebook, I was thinking about this on my walk this morning. Okay, if I want to have a separate Facebook page, how do you do that when you already have a page that's your page? How do you make a separate business page? Do you have to use a completely different login? I mean, email or?
In connecting.
Mhm. So you're wanting to make a Facebook page for Outschool?
Mhm.
So if you've got a personal page, then you have an option to make a page or a group. You go on your personal page, you go on your settings, and then a group is something that someone has to join, and a page is someone that people can just like without joining it. And so
And which one would I do? The
well,
likes?
it depends. I'm not sure what you would want it for. So it just really kind of depend on if you want everything to be public and whoever likes your page can see every post, then, that I personally have a page for like my online business. But then I'm also an admin in a group where things are private, and like our group that we're in.
So the online business one, maybe make it where you would hit join.
Yeah, that would be a group. Yeah.
Okay, join and group. Okay.
Yeah. Angela, I think you had a question earlier. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I'm listening to everything and writing questions as I go. But yes, when you said there are two different ways, and one was to join a group and the other was a separate Facebook page, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. There.
And which one, first of all, is it to my advantage? Have you seen more by having a Facebook page? And also a separate email. I know I want to set that up, don't I?
Well,
Because
I
email.
can. I mean, I personally use my personal email for Outschool, which is my online business email is helloteachermarian@gmail.com, but then I use my personal one to sign up for Outschool. It's just up to you. They do send a lot of emails, and you can filter those emails so that you don't receive all of them. But just if you want just a separate Outschool email, you can definitely create that. But I don't have, so I'm not sure what we're talking about here. Like, I don't have a Facebook page or a group in order to attract learners to classes. And so I'm not sure if that's what you guys are talking about. I don't do anything like that. I don't even advertise my classes on Facebook. So
That's kind of how I felt. I thought, well, I didn't really know whether I wanted to do that. I mean, I may put something on there just for my friends to see so that initially they realize, hey, this is an option for my children or grandchildren.
Right. Now I do have a online business where a referring business for VIPKid and Outschool, and that's where my Facebook page comes in, is the referring. But as far as like advertising my classes, I do, like, I know that teachers will advertise on social media. I know Outschool will encourage advertise to your friends and family, put it on social media. That is one way to get the word out. But never paid. They say don't pay for advertisement. You're already paying for it. 30% of your paycheck is for Outschool to do your own advertising and everything else that they do, connect us with the learners and so forth. But yeah, so I just want to be clear that my Facebook group is not to attract learners. It's simply the referring side of my business. I just feel like the best way to attract learners to your classes is, I mean, at least in my own experience, is to just keep perfecting your classes like that. On my ongoing beginning reading class now has over like 500 parent saves to it, and but in the beginning it was a disaster. Like I can't even believe anybody ever came back to that class. And I like really became like this accidental beginning reading teacher. I thought I was going to do all these amazing language arts lessons, but while I was waiting on language arts to take off, I just kind of said, let me try this little reading class. And it just grew from there. But what I did and what I would always encourage teachers to do is perfect that class. Like, I would teach it and then I would be like, that was terrible. back to the drawing board. I would reteach it, and I would, okay, well, that worked well and that worked well. We got to change up the middle here. I would teach it. I did that. I cannot tell you how many times I've changed this one class to where I now finally have it to where it flows so smoothly, and I just feel like it's a really great class now. But I'm so grateful that parents just even kept signing up, and it wasn't the same parents. I mean, I did in the beginning, I would have parents and I knew I was not going to see them again. I was like, I don't blame you. Here, can I give you your money back? That was awful. But just perfecting. And then I believe truly that it is word of mouth. When a student gets a really great class, they are going to tell, because here's how I know. I have so many like, well, can I get transferred into this class because our friend is in this one? Can I get transferred into this? So I run 15 sections of that very same class a week. So right now I'm only teaching that one class because that's the class that everybody, you know, wanted. And I was surprised by that, but I just went with it. And so I really believe it's word of mouth. So, but before that went to a one-time class, it was just, I mean, to an ongoing class, it was just one-time classes. I just taught my heart out and really tried to get a good review. And I would always leave a message in the classroom after class, you know, thank you so much for coming to class today. Please, I would love it if you told me, you know, what worked well, what you would, you know, any suggestions. I'm always open to feedback, and please rate this class so I'll know and others will know how you enjoyed it. I reached out in the classroom every single class for a review. Not begging, but just saying it means a lot to me if you could take the time to review this class, and left it there. If they did, they did. If they didn't, they didn't. I never reached out another time. You know, Outschool does a great job of reminding us parents to review classes. So, but I think getting a few really good reviews and just like teach your heart out. I taught that student a class of one so many times, and I just taught it like there were 10 students in there. And you know, and then it will spread, it will pick up, and they will tell their friends, and we're all in homeschool groups, we're all in mom groups. Let me tell you about this class we're taking. I really feel like that's where the majority of my students, and I was, before I ended that first ongoing section, I was over 100 students a week. I was about, you know, 110, 120 students a week. And now, and I ended that because the month of July was just kind of, there was a lot happened in the month of July. So I had to end that ongoing class and started over in August. And so now I'm about 40 students a week. So it dropped dramatically. I don't know if it's because students went back to school. You know, a lot of schools here have started up. They started up that first week in August. So I don't know if that's it, or if it's just, you know, well, that class ended, let's go ahead and see what else is out there on the Outschool world. I mean, it could be a lot of things, but yeah. Okay, I feel like I'm just talking and I don't know, I don't even remember what the question was. So Angela, were you?
No, you're doing well. I guess I was wanting, when I submit a class, about how long will it take to hear back, you know, whether they accept that?
I feel like it's a different experience all the time, but I feel like it kind of depends. I don't know any of this, but I feel like it depends on who reviews it, what kind of class it is, how detailed it is, how lengthy it is, the type of class, how new the Outschool staff member is. All of those factors might go into play but I think typically it's like, you know, 2 to 5 days, I would say. When I first started, it was, you know, real quick turnaround, same day, next day. And then I kind of got into a 5, 6, 7 day. And then now I've seen it pick up and be faster again. So that what you guys
found it depends on the class.
For sure.
When you submit it and what, like you said, how involved it is.
Yes.
Excuse me, I got choked. I have a question about parent reviews. I mean, I see them when they send me the email, but
right.
Isn't there a place you can go and find those reviews?
On your teacher profile, and you guys, let's see, I'll either in the drop-down menu or at the top of the screen, you go to teach, and then it will say profile. And that's how you get to your teacher profile. And then you click view profile. And if you view profile, it will tell you how many stars you have. And if they left you a public comment, then that comment will be listed. If they just left 5 stars with no comment, you won't see who made the review. You'll just, it'll just show in your tally of stars. So let's see, I will try to share this screen real quick. And so this is my Outschool page. Do you guys see that? Profile. And then, preview is what it is. All right, and so you can see it says 30 completed classes, even though I teach 15 a week, because ongoing classes, my ongoing classes are 9 weeks. So they only say, like one ongoing class only counts for 1 class. So even though you teach it for 9 weeks, that 9 classes only counts as 1 because it's an ongoing class. Okay, so you see I have 26 parent review. So there it is. It's under your view profile.
I see.
And you
Okay,
just
good.
scroll down and then you can click show more reviews. And for online classes, parents have to be in, or learners have to be enrolled 3 weeks straight before they can, or 3 consecutive weeks, yeah, before they can leave a review. So it's unlike if for ongoing classes, parents have to be, or learners have to be enrolled for 3 consecutive weeks before they can leave a review.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I actually am just going to be turning in my video this week to apply. But I am going to do, for my demo, I'm going to do a preschool piano experience.
Uh-huh.
But I saw on other teachers that some of them use a curriculum. Is it okay if I use the same curriculum as someone else does?
You have to get permission. As online teachers working for a for-profit company, we have to get permission to use anything that we did not create unless we are, like for curriculum, like for instance, I reached out to use a reading curriculum before I just created my own, and I did not get permission to use that in Outschool. Just would cover myself. What you can do though, Gail, is whatever you love about the curriculum, just make it your own. You know, like, so I was able to look at that reading curriculum and say, I don't need this book. I know this like the back of my hand. I can teach this in my sleep. And so I just pulled out what I loved and just created some slides on Google Slides, and I did it that way. So you can definitely take the teaching method and make it your own. But as far as using the actual curriculum, I would say get permission first, just to cover yourself.
Okay, I was thinking about doing sentence stretchers because I'm a word person too, and I found something on Teacher Pay Teachers, and that girl said as long as you don't give my file out, it's fine for you to use it.
Perfect.
So
yeah, just keep that written correspondence so that you'll have it if you ever need it. Absolutely. Okay. I've reached out to Teachers Pay Teachers too, and the ones I've reached out to have been great. And just thank you for asking, and yes, you may use it for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, yes, Giselle.
Hi.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I wanted to know, I had 3 classes so far. I'm new to this, like everybody else here, so but I had from 5 to 8-year-olds in one of my classes, and the a 6 and 8-year-old mother of 2 had stated that the class wasn't interactive enough. I didn't know how to, I had 40 slides. I guess I have to cut back on the slides, or because I teach Spanish and it's a new language. So
Gotcha. So without really knowing a lot about the class, if you had a lot of slides and you got that feedback, my first thought would be the parent wanted more interaction where the students had more practice time, more speaking time, more back and forth, ping pong between you and the student. It may have been too much content covered on slides. So if you could, I would definitely try to reduce the number of slides and increase that student output, because I bet that's what parents are looking for, just taking a guess about just what you've told me.
okay.
Now, if you want to share anything more specific, or through email, if you want to ask me some questions, please be sure you could give me more specifics about that too. If that isn't, if you hear that comment and you think, well, no, I'm getting a lot of feedback, I'll be happy to troubleshoot with you.
Because I did supply, excuse me, the flashcards, and I guess it wasn't enough, but I guess I have to create games but I don't really know how to, because I'm not a teacher. I studied marketing, so
yeah.
But,
There's a YouTube video right now out there, and I can't remember her name, but she shows you how to make games, interactive games to use in the classroom. So if you look that up on YouTube, you should be able to find it.
okay.
Yeah, I know a lot of teachers use Kahoot for games. And but if you're not comfortable, a lot of games are fun and they're easy. With Kahoot, I believe they each have to have a separate device to play that game. So depending on your age, that may or may not work. We play games, but it's really learning. They don't, I call them games, but they're sounding out words. So I would say do what you're most comfortable with, just to increase that student output and that interaction. Maybe calling on more individual turns, maybe creating a thumbs up, thumbs down game, just kind of getting more, having the students act out one of your words, just whatever. I'm really shooting in the dark because I don't know what your lesson is, but like if you were to give the student a word in Spanish that, play a review game at the end and have them do like a little charades, act out the word that you gave them or something like that. Just something where they can get moving. I know that as a parent, my little one loves the classes that have him moving, have him talking, have him pointing at something, go get something. But if he's just if he's just sitting there kind of looking at content, even my older 14-and-a-half-year-old, they're kind of like, it was a lot of stuff, just a lot to digest.
It just made me think of, because being a kindergarten teacher, like she might be doing colors in Spanish and she could say, is it roja? And they have to all go find that. By knowing what she said, they have to go find something that's that color.
The scavenger
So
hunt
cute.
idea.
I love it.
Get back to the computer.
Yeah, that's so cute.
I have noticed, excuse me, go ahead.
I saw someone I was watching the other day, and I was watching her teach, and it was I'd never seen anyone do this before. When she was teaching something, like if you wanted them to say, I don't do Spanish well, and I do everything with a Southern accent, so forgive me. But if you're teaching rojo, then she would go, rojo, rojo. And then she would do like this, and the students were expected each time, and she would do everything twice. She would go, rojo, rojo. They said it back. But when they said it to her, they had to do it like this, where they were doing like she did when she spoke. So she was getting, visual
And movement.
and auditory.
I did a lot of TPR, but I guess it wasn't. I guess she wanted to have more games, but I didn't know if they were old enough to do Kahoot or anything like that, because
So
I had from 5 to
interacting.
8-year-olds.
Yeah, interacting, that's the big thing.
When you did TPR, did the students do it with you, or was it just you doing it?
Yeah, they did the same thing, but even I had to read the English sentence. I thought they would know how to read the. It's not that I'm making fun of them. I just wondered why they would keep on repeating what I said instead of I said, "What does this say?" And they didn't, until I said the sentence, they would say it. That was the only way that they would say the sentence.
Sounds like
Yes.
a VIPKid class.
It's going to depend a lot on, it definitely will depend a lot on the age level of your students and the reading level. So one thing that you might want to do in your description box is say, this class would be really good for those already reading on, second grade level, third grade level, or just put a little disclaimer at the bottom. Students that are not already reading on a second grade level might struggle a little, just go ahead, because if the more detail you put in the description box about what students need to come knowing, that will just set you up for your students to have a better experience and for your parents to be better pleased. Yeah.
What do you do when you have, because I had one student that didn't know any Spanish at all, because these two, the two girls that knew Spanish, they knew very little, but there was one student that didn't know Spanish at all. He kept on going around the room and he didn't really pay attention, and there wasn't any parental guidance there at all.
What age was the class? 5 to 8, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in that case, I would try to get him back to the screen. But if that, you're unsuccessful in that, I would just go ahead and mute, and I honestly just would act like it wasn't happening. I would teach to those students who were at the screen. And and as soon as he came back to the screen, I would just praise him like he just, read a novel. I would just praise him, and, and I would not mention the fact that he was not at the screen prior. I would give him more of a paycheck for being with me than he got for not being with me. And once he sees, I'm getting more feedback positively, more attention here than I am doing my own thing, I'm going to stay here. It feels good here. So that's how I personally just would handle that.
What about changing the age level, like 7 to 9 or something like that, because it's still they'll be able to read better.
Because 5-year-olds typically are not real strong readers yet coming into kindergarten.
The 5-year-old was pretty, I guess she was more advanced, so she was able to read while her mother was there. So
you just never know. That's just how that age group is.
Yes.
Yeah.
All over the place. That's so true, especially those, because we all those littles learn at different times. Some states don't start till 6, some start at 4. Some parents start at 7, some parents start at 3. You just never know. That coming in stage to reading, they all start at different ages.
And you can tell the child who hasn't been to preschool. They just come straight into kindergarten where they've already, like, tentatively, we say technically they've lost a year already with the other kids who went to preschool that are coming in and know their ABCs and everything. So you've got that big range too. So.
Depends. Well, I had a question. Do y'all find that you get more response from the younger ages as far as signing up for classes, if your classes are geared to like 4 to 6 or whatever? Seems like I see that more, and most of my classes are geared to like 4th, 5th grade up, 8 to 10, somewhere in there, 8 to 12, and I get less response.
I found the same thing personally, Linda. I started out with like a punctuation station for those little bit older, and I just found that the response was yeah, a lot greater with the younger. I think it depends on
That's-
what you're teaching. If you're teaching one of those necessary skills like reading, you know, math, those kinds of core subjects, I find that especially in those younger years, those are sought after. I feel like that's what I've.
Well, I am teaching one on writing a paragraph, and I've gotten some good response with that. Talking about tweaking, I taught it the other day, and I thought, I need to do this differently. And I'm waiting for my next class to kind of approach it from a different standpoint than the way I had it first. And I'm hoping it's going to make a difference. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
It's
you
been
know,
quite a few years since I've been teaching all of that.
middle school is a tough age.
It is a very tough age. I didn't like teaching middle school when I taught it. I don't know why I'm doing it on high school.
You have to do something that's really going to be creative for them or exciting, like these people that are doing coding and
I know.
what are those games?
Roadblocks
Minecraft?
or something.
Where you have to get out of a room. They're called something, I don't know.
Escape room.
rooms. Yeah.
Those are the kind of things they want. So, yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Well, I think too, what I find with middle schoolers is, you know, preschool and high school, they're both, they will, once they get out of that middle school stage, high schoolers like to talk to you again. They'll talk to you again, they'll give you feedback, they'll interact with you in class, they like that they can express their ideas, you know, and preschoolers obviously are very much like that for the most part. That middle school is the awkward, and what I found though is that most middle schoolers enjoy, even that are enjoying your class, you'll never know it because they
Yeah,
are poker face for about 4 years, or you know, it's so much about what everyone else is doing in the class. They just feed off of each other's energy. So that those middle school years are tricky. I personally feel like middle school is the hardest to teach. I feel like preschool and high school are easier.
Yeah.
I do too.
Definitely. Yeah.
All
I have a
right.
question.
Yes.
First of all, did I understand? I think I emailed you this, I believe. You said it is okay to use YouTube videos or parts of them because they are public domain.
Right. And just with YouTube videos, I just always caution, make sure you're just showing a short clip, because if it's a video that you want to watch them to watch in its entirety, if it's more than a few minutes or, you know, a couple of minutes long, I would send it to have them watch before class. And, you know, that way you're not taking away from that engaging interaction lesson by just, because you don't want parents to say, well, we could have watched a YouTube video on our free time. And then also just queuing it up. You have to be careful about the ads too, because I know that even teachers that already have it queued up to exactly where they want it to play, if there's, you know how YouTube is, if there's too much time, you press pause and then there's too much time, the minute you press play, it's going to start with an ad. So that's the only thing that, I don't know, concerns me about using YouTube. But yes, you can, a lot of teachers do. I think most of it.
How do you do that? You just share your screen? Or do you have to
Yes.
do it on your, how does that work?
Yep. So you just share your screen. You hit that green share screen button at the bottom, but you want to make sure that you have all of your whatever you want to share during your class, it's already pulled up on your computer, so that when you go to hit that green share screen button, there's going to be a rectangle in your pop-up, and it's going to let you choose from whatever you want to share. So if you've got YouTube pulled up, a worksheet, whatever, it's going to have all of that, and then you just choose the one you want to share at that time and hit share. And that one, and then you're going to have to enlarge the screen. So you just click on full screen view. And then you can actually drag and drop your students around the screen so that you can see the features that you need to see. And then I actually just did a video this morning for YouTube. I haven't edited or uploaded yet, but it'll be my next one, and it is on classroom management in the online classroom. And that is definitely one of my tips, is have everything pulled up, because I have been caught, you know, a couple of times in a class where I was, you know, teaching like 4 classes in a row that had used the same materials, and then that 5th class we were on a different lesson and I forgot to go, you know, get the right worksheet up, get all the right Google Slides up, and that you know, will cause those students to break focus in a minute. When you're scrambled, they know it, and it just kind of, you lose that momentum in the lesson. So always have everything pulled up on your desktop before you hit start live meeting in the classroom. That button for you to start your class is called start live meeting. Before you hit that, have everything up on your desktop or wherever. Yes, Diane.
Okay, so is that the same thing for using your document camera? Do you hit, when you turn on your either your iPad or your phone to have it on whatever's over here, do you hit share and it comes up on there?
Well, if you're wanting to use your iPhone or iPad, you can. I know that you can share your screen and choose your iPhone or iPad, but what I've seen most teachers do is they just sign on. They share. So when you click the start live meeting, and you know you've got like the option to share invitation or send invitation, they'll send an invitation to themselves via email, and they'll open that on their device, and they'll click on that invitation, and that opens it up in their iPad or iPhone. So then it's showing as, you know, you're in both places at once. You've got 2 squares up there at once.
Okay.
I do that. I just have mine, it says teacher phone, because otherwise they're like, there's another person. I'm like, no, that's my phone. And I don't use it until the end. So I actually keep my camera off, and it hasn't been a big deal. And I just kind of touch my camera and it comes on, but you could leave it on the whole time, I guess. But I don't do that. It's distracting to me to have like nothing there.
Yeah.
Whoever it was that was asking about showing the video, there's also another little box you can click that causes a video to process a bit faster, and you won't get the lag in your video. So it's important to click on that little box too.
That's in your Zoom settings?
Yeah. It's on the, I think it's when you go, you know, when you hit share screen and it opens up which one you want to share. I think it's there.
Gotcha.
I've never done it. My husband has mentioned it and said it makes a huge difference in showing a video.
Gotcha.
What is the name of that
Ones
button?
who have already done their video and are teaching, what mode do you best for recording your video? Through Zoom, through iVideo? What do you think is the best way?
To record an Outschool class?
No, to record my application video.
Oh, your application. I'm sorry. I just use my phone. I use my phone for all my videos, and I record and I edit through iMovie. Application, I think iPhone is fine. I think a lot of teachers, I would think most of the teachers use their iPhone. Yeah.
And did you use iMovie to edit it, and were you able to upload it onto Outschool's little spot?
Yeah.
I had trouble with that.
See, that's what I was
couldn't make it work.
I had trouble, but then I airdropped it to my iPad, and from my iPad it did immediately. So I don't know what the difference was.
Oh.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Anything else we need to talk about? We got about 7-10 minutes.
Google
Is
Slides.
the editing software? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, Google Slides or Canva, which is more difficult to learn or easier to learn? And also, do I need to use both or just one, or one works better for some things and one for others?
I think Canva and Google Slides both work about the same, and I think they're both really easy to learn. I've not presented from Canva yet. I personally, now with Canva, I never can get a solid answer. So if any of you present on Canva, please speak up. I feel like you have to have the paid version of Canva to present. Does anybody know if that's right or wrong? See, I always had the paid version.
I pay for it and it presents, so I can't tell you if it doesn't present and I don't pay for
Yeah,
it.
I pay for mine too, but I haven't started
Here.
yet.
Same here, but I just went ahead and let my Canva subscription go because I just felt like I was, a few months went by and I wasn't using anything but the free options anymore. So I personally like everything in my Google Drive. I just love how everything is in my Google Drive. I can work on, if I need to tweak a slide, I can do it from my iPhone. If I need to, you know, and I could do that from Canva, but I just feel like it's easier to have everything in one space. And so that's why I like Google Drive. I just feel like everything is in that drive. But I feel like as far as ease, I know that a lot of teachers absolutely love doing Canva. I feel like Google is just super easy as well. So I've never done a presentation in Canva, but I think it's about the same though.
Well, I've been practicing with Canva to get ready for my video and then my first class. And I have learned as I go. I'm not a real big tech person, but I have figured things out pretty easily. Sometimes it might take a little while, but I've been doing some nice things with it so far.
Yeah, the one thing about Canva you have to remember is, or I guess Google Slides, Canva's images are 1,000 times better than Google's free images. So like the images, when you're doing a Google Slides, the images that pull up are free domain, they're free to use, but they're not great. Like you kind of have to really search through and try to find a good one. At least that's for me, but Canva's got really great images. And I don't know, I feel like you can make them cuter, more appealing, more attractive on Canva. So what I always did was I just got my images from Canva and I would drag them onto my Google Slides and use them that way. So if you use Canva, it would cut out that step of going to Canva looking for your images because you're already right there in Canva. I think it would just depend on, for me, I guess it would be, do you have to have do you have to pay the $12.95 a month to present in Canva? And you know, if that's important, and then do you like having all your stuff in one space? You know, I like to be able to just go to my Google Drive no matter what device I'm on and work on whatever I need to work on.
How do you drag it from Canva to Google Slides?
You, okay, I believe it's Catherine Westbrooks who has a video where she actually showed how to drag from Canva to her Google Slides. I believe it's her channel. So if you can go to her channel and then just, you know, look at her videos. But I personally just found it easy just to save it to my desktop and then, you know, insert the image on my Google Slides. I would just save the images from Canva on my desktop and drag them from my desktop to the Google Slide. But you can do it, I believe you can do it from Canva to Google, but I just can't tell you exactly how. I found it easy, just like I said, just to download it to my computer. Yes, Linda.
Did you say that images that you get off of Google are free? That there's no...
Not Google, but Google Slides. When you're
Google
creating a slide presentation, those are different images than when you just pull up anything on Google.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yes, Giselle. Oh, I can't hear you, Giselle. I'm so sorry.
I had myself on mute.
Oh, there you go.
to download the Canva images, you just have to go to download and download it as a PNG, as transparent.
Yeah, so yeah, on the top right of Canva, you can click download and you can decide. If it's a picture though, I always download it as PNG onto my desktop. Yes. All right. Any other questions?
One more question.
Yeah.
On the demo, it's strictly, totally demo. You're just introducing yourself to your students, talking back, pretending that you're talking back and forth to them. No other information that you've already given in the written application. Is that correct?
So yeah, on your application video, I personally, and what I've seen, and Angela, I think you did this. I think it's a good idea just to start off with, thank you for the opportunity for applying to Outschool. Set up your lesson. I think Angela said something like, so at this point in the lesson that you will see, we've already done ABC. So now the students are about to do EFG. And then just kind of set it up. Yeah, and then teach the lesson and then end it with, thanks so much for your time, look forward to hearing from you soon, or whatever, however you want to end it. But yeah, I would do a quick.
Share her video?
What's that?
Can Angela share her video?
I don't know that I know how to share it, but Mary Ann's welcome to share it if she knows how.
Yeah. Let me,
when you share your screen, all I see is my Zoom screen. I can't see anything else.
Have it, Angela. Got it.
Good, okay.
Okay, copy link address.
You listen to yourself and you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't said. But after you've done it a million times, you're like, I don't care anymore. It's going.
Right. You get to that point where you're like, just whatever. Okay, I'm going to let you, you're the one that did Dropbox, right, Angela?
My husband did. He
Yeah,
said Dropbox.
It was Dropbox. Okay.
It was too big to do it any other way.
Yeah. But yeah, please look at that video if you're wanting an example.
Did you put the link in the chat?
In the chat box.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys just copy and paste it. And before I sign off, I'll give everybody a minute or two to copy and paste that. Thank you guys for coming. This was fun.
Bye. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.